Good morning. It's just gone 1:30, and last night I started reading again, which was fantastic. It's been a long time since I've been able to pick up a book, and I read 6 or 7 chapters of a probably number 1 or number 2 bestseller, just to get myself back into the way of reading. And then I went to sleep early. I'm enjoying reading again and looking forward to it. So I put the book down and go to sleep. It's the first time in many months that I wake up knowing and following through on my dreams. So this is the mad dream I've had tonight. There's one of these big, huge Air Force carriers from America arrives into Cork. And it docks for a week because they have to have ore and resupply from the capital of the world for fresh food, and Irish fresh food at that. And the great and the good, the magnates and the barons, the wealthy and the religious, the politicians are all invited. To go and visit this fantastic, extraordinary Air Force carrier ship. And they marvel at its size. It's bigger than Mount Washington, and the amount of people on board, and there's the gunnery, and you don't even see them. They're all pocketed away, and look at all these planes and helicopters and jets, and fantastic. Everybody's so pleased, and the great and the good and the barons and the magnates are all having dinner with the captain, and he's personally giving them the tour. And the wonderful thing is, the whole of Cork and half of Waterford and Kerry are out to see this great spectacle. And Michael Burnett himself. But him to be who he is, sure isn't he the last that ever gets on board, down with all the people at the back, the ones that never get the big dinners or the grand tours by the captain. Fair enough. Up he goes. He's given the same tour, but by a rating. And this young fella from America brings him round and showing him and telling him how many things of that and how many fathoms of this, and the information now would take you lost because there's just so much so fast, and you're going nowhere with it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And that Michael Burnett being himself, he decides to change the conversation. So he starts telling the ratings some stories. And the rating is so enjoying the stories, he invites him back the next day. Back he is to go the next morning for breakfast, and he's invited to sit with other ratings, telling them these mighty Irish stories. The stories that they never get on TV. And we're brought around again and shown around, and this time we've a group of about 10 sea people and some of their Delta Force or SEAL Force or whatever you want to call them. They have so many different names. And the same old stories are sent around and laughed and rejoiced, and isn't it a wonderful thing, the stories? I'm invited to stay for lunch, go down and watch gunnery practice. Do they even have that? Watch mechanics fix the airplanes, and oh, you wouldn't believe half the time. And we're meeting more and more people, but we're still in the dregs of the ship at the very bottom. Only now we're meeting more people, more sailors. They're all very young. Everybody's under 30. They're very fast. Everybody knows what they're doing and where they're going. And I'm now being shown different parts of the ship, but I'm halfway up. Halfway up. I'm halfway up the ship now. I'm no longer in with the bugs and the ordinary people. I'm now meeting even more important people. I'm meeting the people in the engine room. And there's a chappie, and he's in signals. Oh, yes, indeed. I asked him, do they still use the old traditional semaphore? And he says he knows it, but he's never had to use it. Though they do ceremonial semaphore when they meet their British counterparts. Oh, very, very good. And sure, isn't it a grand thing? That Michael Burnett fella, who knows nothing at all. He knew about semaphore, so suddenly I'm up to the next level. We're dealing now with lieutenants and junior officers, and I'm invited into their mess. So afternoon tea is here. We're still here on the ship, and oh, the crack is only 90, and let me show you this, and what do you think of that? And oh my God, isn't that wonderful? And you'd swear you were in a hotel room now, because the standard of the living quarters is getting better, and the mess is why it's like the Imperial in Cork, in South Mall. Lovely decor and very nice place, and we're telling the stories and we're going on, and isn't it a grand life? And everybody's saying, ha ha ha, these Irish, they're so funny. And we're invited to meet the next level of officers. But I can't take any more. Please, please come back tomorrow for breakfast. Burnett is invited in for breakfast. This is a long dream, I can tell you, but there it is. Eventually we're brought up to the captain, to meet the captain. And the captain's in dress uniform, and the smile is bigger than the Bay of Galway. And he's telling us all about it, his authority, his power, the wonderful aspect of service and how great it is. And he is a mighty man, this captain of the Air Force carrier of the USA. And we're all having dinner. And isn't it a grand life when I'm sitting beside the captain of the USS whatever, with all the great and the good of Ireland, and this being the last dinner to be had. Everybody that's anyone is there, but Michael Burnett is sitting beside the captain himself, regaling with laughter and joy the first officer, the second officer, the chief medical. They're the whole gallantry of officers on the USS whatever, listening to Michael Burnett telling his stories. And everybody's given presents and commemorations and photographs, and we're all leaving, and the captain comes over to that Michael Burnett fella and he says, he said, I really laughed so much and enjoyed such a great evening. He said, will you come for breakfast before we sail out tomorrow? He said, there'll only be yourself and all the other people will be gone. This will be a personal invitation by me, the captain. Well, of course, how can you refuse? The wealth of nations is in smiling and accepting. So there I am. I'm on the next day. I'm dressed up as I've never been dressed up. I even have a new hat. One that I'm thinking I should get because I don't have it, but it's beautiful. A Homburg. And up I go, and all the ratings are standing at attention on the deck, and they're all waving and smiling and laughing and saying, hooray for Burnett, the greatest storyteller that ever was. There was never a better story. Anyway, sure, isn't it great? And I go up, and the captain, he says, look, you can have anything you want for breakfast. He said, the world's your oyster. And I said, well, to be honest now, I said, the best sandwiches are made in America, I'm told. But there is one sandwich that must surely outshine it. And the captain, he gets a bit red because he says, you're doubting the might of the American Navy and the American nation. And I said, no, I'm not doubting. I've just said I've never had one of the great sandwiches that we hear about. And I know the best sandwich ever made is actually made here in Cork. Well, now his dander's up, and I've been his friend for this half a week, and I've dined with him on the main hall with the great and the good, and he was in such great, wonderful company, and now he's red. I have set the challenge. How could any sandwich maker in Cork, the middle of nowhere in his mind, be better than the USS whatever? And he takes off his dress jacket, and he rolls up his sleeves, and his beautiful gold watch is pure gold, and the weight of it alone has all the authority of the captain of the USS whatever. And he said, okay, he said, in front of everybody, I will make Michael Burnett an American sandwich like he's never had before. And out come all the ingredients and the tables. There's 20 tables surrounding him, laden with produce. So much you couldn't believe. There's 20 different types of bread, 15 types of beef. Oh yes, I like the old bit of smoked beef, if anyone's asking. Hams, chickens, fish, tuna, shark slices. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. There's salads galore that I never even heard of. There's leaves and there's berries and there's nuts. Why, they even have Patagonia leaves. If you could even believe that there were any leaves to be had in Patagonia. And you wouldn't believe it. And he's making it and he's offering me butters, spreads, oils, fragrances. Oh, this is fantastic. And I'm saying, throw it on and see what you can do, because I told him the challenge is easy. Because here in Cork, everybody knows the best sandwich is made. And after 10 minutes, this magnificent, huge, gigantic, monumental sandwich is put in front of me, cut into 20 little pieces so that I could even get to look at it, never mind to eat it. Sure, it must be the height, at least, of the Cork City Hall, and the width. And there it is, sitting in front of me. And I take out this little sandwich from my satchel. It was made the day before in Cork. And it's wrapped in tin foil. And it looks so incredibly lonesome beside this ginormous, fantastical, architecturally built sandwich. Sitting there, this little sandwich, looking at itself, saying, what do you do to get as big as this thing next to me? I sit down and I eat the ginormous City Hall sandwich, and it is splendid. There are so many flavors and textures and tastes, depths and heights and whatever you could possibly want. Sure, aren't they all in that magnificent sandwich? A sandwich never to be made again, nor probably was made ever before. A sandwich to beat all sandwiches, except this little thing, still wrapped in the tin foil, and me with hardly a bit of space to be had. I open the sandwich of tin foil. And out comes a small, lean little sandwich. A sandwich that you wouldn't see if you were looking, in comparison to the yolk I just had. And the whole ship is aghast. What on God's earth is this? And how could that possibly be called a sandwich? And sure, where is it if you were looking for it? Because you can't see it, it's so small. in comparison to the City Hall sandwich made by the captain of the USS whatever. Its insignificance, its complete inability to impress. It's a no-brainer. This ain't a sandwich in comparison, and it's certainly not better than the USS whatever sandwich made by the captain himself. No, no, no. How could it be? This miserly little sandwich, the captain looks at it aghast and says, "What is that?" And the Michael Burnett fella, in all honesty, looks up with eyes shining and he says, "This is the best sandwich there is." And the captain says, "How can it compete with what I just made for you? Made with the glories of America, the nation, the president, the whole Navy. This doesn't stand a chance to be the greatest sandwich ever." And I tell them, it's a penny dinner's sandwich, made with love by volunteers that come in every day for no money, no recognition, and many of them, it costs money for them to come in because they're using their car, their petrol, their bus, their money to be dedicated to help feed the people that need it. And it might look the most insubstantial in comparison to the highest and the biggest and the widest and the most full. But the reason this is the best sandwich in the world is because it's made with love. And the captain cries, and the first officer cries, and the chief engineer runs down to his galley and cries. Chief medical officer is taking so much heroin, crying his eyes out. All the ratings are crying their eyes out because they've learned the lesson. 'Tis only in Cork that the best things are. And it isn't because they're the biggest, or the widest, or the shiniest. They may not even be the most appreciated. But it's the Cork sandwich, made in penny dinners, that's the best sandwich of all. Because when you think of it, if it's made with love and dedication, day in, day out, hard times, good times, wet rain, snow, burning sun, and still those sandwiches are being made. And sure, I never told him about the packed lunches. Thank you very much.